Most people trying to get healthier are already doing something right, but they're just not feeling the way they hope to. They're sleeping 8 hours, they're going to the gym, they're taking supplements, they're eating better than they used to, but they still feel sluggish, they still feel foggy, and they're still carrying weights that just cannot seem to shift. The problem is not effort. The problem is that they're optimizing one or two things in isolation, and health does not work in isolation. There are 5 main pillars that determine how you feel and how your body performs, and if one of them is broken, the others cannot compensate for it. They all have to work together. Today I want to walk you through all 5 and show you why nutrition is the one that holds everything else together. You're not lazy, you are not unmotivated, you have tried things and seen some results, but hit a wall. The wall is not you, it's just the fact that you've been optimizing the wrong lever or the right lever in the wrong order. Once you understand the full system, the results start to make sense. And so does the strategy. Pillar 1, nutrition. What you eat determines what your hormones do. It determines whether your body is in storage mode or fat burning mode. It determines your energy, your inflammation levels, your mental clarity, and your hunger signals. Every other pillar is downstream of this one. Each following pillar cannot function to full effect without this foundational piece in place. Pillar 2, sleep. Sleep is when the body repairs itself, when it balances hormones, processes the day, and resets. Poor sleep elevates cortisol, increases hunger, and makes insulin resistance worse. You cannot out-train bad sleep, but you can make it significantly worse with bad nutrition. You do not eat well because you slept well, you sleep well because you ate well. Pillar 3, sunlight. Natural light in the morning sets your circadian rhythm, your sleep-wake cycle, your hormone production, your energy levels through the day. Most people are chronically underexposed to natural light and overexposed to artificial light at night. The result is disrupted sleep, elevated evening cortisol, and a cascade of downstream effects. You can get all the sun you like, it is not going to balance your hormones when you eat sugary food. Pillar 4, activity. Movement. Not necessarily intense exercise, but consistent daily movement improves sensitivity, supports cardiovascular health, and regulates mood. Simply hitting 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day has more meaningful impact on metabolic health than sporadic high-intensity sessions with no baseline activity. But without adequate nutrition, this is a literal treadmill. You will abandon the process before getting the results you want. Pillar 5, stress management. Chronic stress keeps cortisol elevated, and that keeps blood sugar high. High blood sugar keeps insulin elevated. That chain of causation is why stressed people gain weight even when they are eating well and exercising. Managing stress is not optional, it is physiological. But I'm glad you're happy and stress-free, but it's not going to melt away the damage from a bad diet. Here's the thing about those 5 pillars, they're not equal. You can sleep perfectly and get morning sunlight every day and still feel terrible if your diet is wrong. The nutrition pillar is not just one of the 5. It is the one that determines how much value you get from all the others. Think about it this way. If you're eating in a way that keeps your blood sugar spiking and crashing all day, you're going to sleep poorly. And if you're sleeping poorly, your cortisol is elevated. And if your cortisol is high, your stress response is always slightly on. And if your stress response is always on, your activity and your sunlight exposure, none of these can do their jobs properly. Everything runs through nutrition. Fix the nutrition and the other pillars start to compound. Leave it broken and you're building everything else on a weak foundation. When all 5 pillars are working, and in my experience with clients, they usually align within 3 to 4 weeks of getting the nutrition right. The change is not subtle. Energy becomes steady, not a peak after coffee and a crash at 3, just level, consistent energy from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed. Sleep improves. Not because you're doing anything different at night, but because your blood sugar is stable, your cortisol is lower, and your body is actually ready to rest. The hunger that used to drive every decision in the day quietens down, not because you're suppressing it, because the signal that was causing it, the blood sugar spike and crash cycle, it is no longer happening. That is what the 5 pillars look like when they are working. Not a dramatic transformation overnight, just a quiet, steady shift that compounds every day. If you're doing everything right and still not feeling the way you expected, start with food. Not as a moral statement, as a practical one. Fix the foundation first, and the other 4 pillars will start to work the way they are supposed to. Everything on the program, the meals, the prep sessions, the philosophy behind it, it's all free at notimetocook.food. Start there.